So now we're going to summarize this day, and I think I'll just hand over the floor to Gunvor because she is going to lead this activity.
Yes, and I'm not going to say, oh God, I have flies in here, interesting. I'm not going to say a lot, but because I think it's for the groups to, all of the groups, I think, or decided for a spokesperson that should summarize. So I will put the words to the different groups and try to make us stay within the time frame, because Q2 we are supposed to finalize and know what we're doing for the next time. But why don't we start with group 2 perhaps, and we finish with the best group, which is my group, obviously the best group. But group 2, what who did you decide to be a spokesperson, and what did you discuss? I would remind you also of the Padlet, where we promised to help out. It's an interesting way of summarizing the discussion, so we will help out to summarize.
Group number 2 was my group,
yes.
And we selected Maya.
Yes, okay, so I was honored to get this opportunity to talk on behalf of the whole group and share all the interesting ideas, opinions, and issues that we discussed. So, I mean, overall, one of our group mates summarized it very nicely that we talked about motivation, technology, assessment, result. So these were the 4 key pillars, let's say, of our discussion today. Well, starting with motivation, which could be student motivation as well as teacher motivation. So I would say that we came up with, 2 important things that we as teachers were supposed to develop our skills so that we get more confident with all these online tools. Okay, it hinges with the technology now, online tools, so that we conduct and we work and we deliver whatever we deliver in the best possible way. Likewise, motivation is very, very much important, and perhaps it is, I can say, crucial when online courses are considered, that students get empowered, students get more responsibility for for being part of the course. Well, let's say if not designed fully, though it is possible as well, but more responsibility of the process or throughout the process. So empowering our students, shift of the opportunity, that was one more thing. We also talked about the future of this, whether all we do or whatever we have done can continue being done in the same way. And we thought, if it happens that we one fine day get over this pandemic conditions, well, perhaps some of the things that we have learned so far we will carry with us into the post-pandemic or no pandemic situation, like Blend, which will be the possible context and format of our courses, will be what we are supposed to continue working with. And we also talked about assessment, which is a very important part of not only engagement with content, with the cognitive presence, but it is, well, a headache, I guess, for most of us, if not all of us. And we actually talked about the possibility to try and use more continuous assessment, diversified assessment, rather than, the old-time proctored sort of proctoring exams and assessment tools like that. So we are thinking of giving more opportunities for students to show what they know, like exploring their knowledge, which is, I think, what we can do very well while using these online facilities. So I think I've said also, if I didn't mention something, so my group my group mates could just add. Thank you.
Thanks a lot, Maya. Anyone in the group who wants to add anything? Seem quite happy. Well, motivation, I think we all agree that that is a cornerstone, and the headache of assessment definitely as well. Interesting. Well, should we continue perhaps through the next group, the third group?
That's my group with Anna as spokesperson.
Okay, so thanks a lot. So I have a great responsibility to present my group. So I would like to say that we had a great discussion. It was very productive and fruitful. And we discussed 3 key points: motivation, engagement, and assessment. And you know, after our long and fruitful discussion, we came to the conclusion that as to the motivation, first of all, we need to make some changes, first of all, in ourselves as teachers. Then to speak about some changes in our students. And we need to be always on the target, that is to speak just to the point, for our students to understand what we speak about and what we want from them, that is what they are expected to achieve. Of course, we need to show our students that this course should be a kind of contribution or a kind of, I don't know, help for their professional development, for something that they will be able to use in their practice. Then assignments. Assignments should be different, they should be various. And of course, we came to the conclusion that for raising our student motivation, we need to put scores and marks, because in very many cases, scores and marks are a great source of motivation for our students. In this case, they see their progress. And of course, every time we need to encourage them, because practice shows that we have shy students who suffer from different complexes, and even when they speak, it's a really difficult and it's a kind of obstacle for them. So we need to encourage them every time, even with like praising words, some good word, some mark, it will be kind of encouragement for them. As for engagement, we came to the conclusion that especially for online education, it is absolutely important for our students to become active participants. That is, we need to remain on the level of facilitators, and our students should be leaders, some kind of leaders. And then we came to the conclusion that when we have teamwork or group work, we need to change our leaders. That is constant change of leaders, because when we have the same leaders all the time, the majority of the group or some percent of students remain on the same level. They remain passive. So then we need to put responsibility on students. That is, sometimes let them act as teachers. Let them act as teachers. It is also a great opportunity for them. Constant frontal questioning, especially after lectures. So what they understood, a kind of feedback, and of course, scores, how relevant these questions were to the point. And in this case, it's a kind of great reflection, whether they were both physically and mentally present during our lectures, or only they were physically present. So this is also very, very important. For assessment, you know, we came to the conclusion that all of us face a number of difficulties connected with assessment, because it is something that still needs some reform, some hard work on this problem. And of course, we decided to have various individual assignments. Again, we need to take into consideration our students' abilities, their level of proficiency. This is absolutely important. And how active they are, how, I don't know, how shy they are, how active they are. This is also like psychology. We need to take into consideration the psychology of our students. Then assessment, different kinds of assessment. It should be peer assessment, it should be self-assessment, and our group leader just spoke about portfolio assessment. By the way, I liked this idea very much. And of course, we came to the conclusion that all kinds of assessment should be transparent, it should be reliable and valid. Only in this case we can reach our goals. This was all. Thanks a lot.
Well, I think all of the groups have been very intensively discussing things, and it's really interesting to hear that even though we have the same questions and the same outline, we do end up in quite different corners, definitely. I don't know whether you saw, but I put in the chat the link to our Padlet, where we summarize the points of each group. Next time will be, like you said, Anna, the student needs to be teachers. So next time you'll be teachers and filling in the Padlet. Yeah, horrible. It's very easy to talk about it, but when it comes to yourself, you just
you know. But I use this practice. I really use this practice, and it's good. And I see great results. Let them feel our great responsibility.
Well, it's sort of interesting. I think you're touching on quite an interesting point, all of the groups so far. This about the variation, both of assessment and what we do, and the responsibility, which is quite important. But also, like all of the groups so far touched on, how do we handle people that are not perhaps like our dear colleague Anna, who feels at least appear to be very comfortable, and also Maya talking about in a group like this. Not all our students love this. We do. I don't know if you had the same experience, but once you talk breakout rooms, half of the group disappears. So how do we make our students grow in a nice fashion, putting them in a Vygotskian way, very nice, taking them by the hand while slightly pushing. We have two other groups still left. So group 4,